Tonight, Russian forces are besieging the Azovstal steel plant. That is the final holdout of Ukrainian soldiers and civilians in the city of Mariupol. And earlier today, Ukraine's top prosecutor unveiled the preliminary results of her investigation into war crimes in the Kyiv suburb of Irpin, next to Bucha, where Nick Schifrin is tonight.
Outside Kyiv, there was so much death. Only now are they planning for its permanence. 35-year-old Volodymyr Stefyenko measures out a future fence and headstone to replace his brother Dmitrio's temporary grave. Their mother says goodbye to her son, shot in the head by Russian forces and dumped in a mass grave 6 weeks ago.
I don't want this grave to be disturbed. All of these graves have fences. It's a tradition. And there will also be a table and bench so we can commemorate the dead. Sit down, talk to them, maybe plant some flowers, say our goodbyes.
The oldest victim of Russian occupation on this row, 93. The youngest, 23. The family who buried their son so quickly the name is written in pen. Just one row of victims in one city, in a country that's fighting a war with no end in sight.
They have done here murders. They have done their tortures.
Down the road, Ukraine's top prosecutor, Irina Venediktova, today concluded her and her team's initial war crimes investigation in neighboring Irpin. They displayed weapons and accused Russia of using them to target civilians indiscriminately. They said Russian forces executed 7 civilians, fired on civilians as they fled, and starved other civilians to death.
It means someone killed them, and we will find these people.
We spoke about 1 month ago. How much progress have you made?
We have first suspects, and we started to prosecute concrete individuals from Russian army. If maybe 1 month ago we have 5,000 cases, I don't remember exactly. Now more than 9,000 cases, and unfortunately it is not the end.
Last week, she accused 10 soldiers in Russia's 64th Mechanized Infantry Brigade of committing atrocities in Bucha. Just the week before, they'd received awards for heroism and courage from Russian President Vladimir Putin.
It means that, yes, it is common responsibility, and Vladimir Putin is responsible for these atrocities.
But across the street, neither atrocities nor broken windows prevent some families from returning. Mykola Tiskevich arrived here last night for the first time in 2 months. He first fled downstairs to the basement and then to his family down south. The calendar's still stuck on the last month they lived here. He and his wife Svetlana are determined to stay despite the cold coming through the broken window.
Well, we get on the bed, we cover ourselves, and that's how we live. Where else should we go? We have nowhere to go. It's better to be here than on the street. Even though it's cold both here and outside, it's like we're on the street.
Just outside these windows here in Irpin and just down the road in Bucha. What do you think the Russians did?
It's scary, and I don't understand why. What did we do? We had a normal life before the war. Now nobody knows what's going to happen tomorrow, or even tonight. You see? Everything is shattered.
Perhaps Russia's single worst war crime here behind St. Andrew's Church, a mass grave of more than 100 people. Today, inside that church, a requiem for the dead. Surrounded by the images of atrocities and of the memories this community can never forget. The Russian strikes that produced shrapnel big enough to pierce this fence, many of them fell next to children's playgrounds. In total, 75% of all residential buildings here in Irpin were either damaged or destroyed. But here's the thing, Irpin held. Ukrainian forces here prevented Russian forces from going down the road only about 15 miles to central Kyiv. And that was in large part thanks to American weapons.
So you're going to direct this sucker, huh?
And today, President Biden highlighted those weapons 5,500 miles away in a Javelin missile factory in Troy, Alabama. Like the Trojans of antiquity, the Ukrainians have used stealth and deception and thousands of javelins to destroy their enemies' armor. But it hasn't been enough to save the port city of Mariupol. Inside the besieged Azovstal plant today, 2 women killed who thought they were about to escape. More than 100 civilians were allowed to leave and today finally reached Ukrainian-held territory, including 54-year-old Yelena Chibulchenko.
Every night we went to sleep and thought about whether we would survive and wake up. It was possible that we wouldn't wake up at all.
The Red Cross's Pascal Hunt helped oversee the evacuation.
We would have hoped that much more people would be able to join the convoy and to get out of hell.
Hell for Mariupol's residents and so many of this war's victims seems eternal. For the PBS NewsHour, I'm Nick Schifrin.
And a note, our coverage of the war in Ukraine is supported in partnership with the Pulitzer Center.